This is the second video on dashboard management in Cobblestone Contract Insight. In this video, we are going to focus on managing and configuring standard dashboards. As covered in the previous video, we have my standard dashboards and system standard dashboards. We are going to primarily focus on system dashboards today, as they are more commonly used. They are set up by system admins and then assigned to users. But very quickly, while we are in the home page, we are able to access my dashboards to make a personal dashboard by going to the Action side menu and then going down to My Dashboard Manager. From here, you can configure your own personal dashboard. Creating a My Standard dashboard, it is almost exactly the same as creating a system dashboard. So we're going to focus on a system dashboard today, and by extension, you'll see how to create a My Dashboard. These are not as commonly used, so I don't necessarily want to focus on them as much. So we're going to go up to the main menu now, down to Manage Setup, Application Configuration, and then down to System Dashboards. From here, you'll see any existing dashboards you have in your system right below. And you can see we can toggle over to other tabs for graphical dashboards and record level dashboards. We'll cover those in the next video. Today, we are going to create a new dashboard. So I am going to go to the top and click Add a new dashboard. I'll choose Standard Dashboard here and get started. So first, I'm going to type in System Dashboard Sample. I can give this a description if I'd like to, and that can be helpful if you plan to have several dashboards. If you don't do this, the only thing that will distinguish the dashboards when you're in the dashboard manager is the name, and if they're similar, it could be helpful to add some extra description in this field here. Internal or gateway, you probably won't need to worry about this, but if you are setting this up to be used on the vendor-client collaboration gateway, if you have the module, you could set this up to be a vendor gateway dashboard. Next, we have the dashboard layout. So we can set up our dashboard in one of two orientations, one of two layouts. First is a one-column dashboard, which looks like this. It's one column, it's one big page. Or we can set up our dashboard as a two-column dashboard. So it's split down the center, we have a left column, and we have a right column. And here's what that can look like. And I didn't necessarily beautify this dashboard quite as much as my other one, but still, you can see the orientation here. I have left and I have right. And there's really no right or wrong answer. Some people prefer the two-column dashboard. I think slightly more people prefer a one-column dashboard for the ease. But the advantage of a two-column dashboard is that it does give you a left side and a right side. So you could have, like, theoretically two reports nearer the top. In this case, they're very much stacked vertically, so I have to scroll down more. So up to you, whichever one you prefer, one or two columns. You do have to tell the system in admittedly a bit of a quirky way if you want a one column or a two column dashboard. The column widths must add up to 98. So if you want a one column dashboard, you must take all of the available width of 98 and put it into the left column. So I'll just put 98, 0. That takes all of the available space and puts it left. That's one column. If you want a two column dashboard, assuming you want those two columns to be of the same width, you'll type in 49, 49, and then there we go. I have a two-column dashboard split evenly down the center. Technically, you could put other numbers and have these be uneven, but I don't see that done often. Most of the time, folks do 49, 49, or 98, 0. For simplicity today, because it's more common, I'll do 98, 0, and then click Save to create my dashboard. Then, if you scroll down my list of standard dashboards, we'll see the dashboard that we just made. So the dashboard does exist. I could go assign it to people, but they won't see anything in it yet. We must go to Docs and Tiles to add some stuff to the dashboard. But before I do that, let me just click Info one more time and just show you that if you do want to go back to change the name, description, or dashboard layout, we can click Info, and it takes you back to this screen. Now we are going to go over to Docs and Tiles. And this gives me a nice preview of my dashboard, which I sort of say tongue-in-cheek because it's empty, but it's also good to emphasize here that this is the dashboard. It is empty at the moment, and we are going to go to Add New Docs and Tiles to add stuff to the dashboard. And we're going to work through these 3 tabs here, beginning with docs. So first, I'll select a doc type. The most common 2 options in this drop-down list, the 2 I'll highlight today, are ad hoc reports and searches, and my calendar. So I'll choose ad hoc reports and searches. I'll choose the report I want to display. We'll go with a 90-day expiration. I'll give this a name. Then we have our docking zone, left column or right column. If you built a 1-column dashboard and set 98.0, you only have a left column. So I just leave this on the left column every time. If you have a 2-column dashboard, you can decide if you want this left or right. And I'll save, and now I have an ad hoc report on my dashboard, and this is a preview of the dashboard. Let's do it again. Add new docs and tiles. I'll choose my calendar this time. I type in the name and then leave this on left. Click save. And now I've added my calendar to the dashboard if I scroll down. Then 2 extra tips from here. You are able to collapse these if you want to. And this is the easiest way to rearrange them. So now this dashboard will be arranged with the calendar first and then the report. Additionally, if you leave these on collapsed as you're building the dashboard, they will default to collapsed when you assign this to users. So sometimes you may want to collapse these. If you have a lot of reports in a list, you might want to collapse them, and then they could be expanded as needed day to day. But let's expand these. Now let's go to add new docs and tiles and focus on button tiles. Okay, so now these are shortcuts to other pages in or outside of the system. And the most common tile that I ever see created is add contract or submit contract, enter contract, whatever you want to call it. But adding a new contract is very common, followed by add request, sometimes add solicitation. But usually a tile to add something to the system is most common. Next, we have page URL. So these are links, right? These are shortcuts. So we want to specify the destination page for this link. So what we want to do is go to another tab. So we want to open one up if you haven't already. Then navigate over to the page you want the link to take them to. In this case, I am going to go to Contracts, Add Contract Record. I always want, in my case, the tile to take us to this page. And so I'm going to go to the top, copy the URL, and then paste the URL into this field. Again, this does work with external links as well. Okay, that's really all you have to do. Everything else on this page is icing on the cake, but let's walk through it anyway. The tooltip is some help text over the tile if you mouse over the tile. The tile icon doesn't really do anything. It just looks nice, right? So I can have this little plus icon for adding. I could choose a background color and a font color. So you can most definitely put your company colors if you'd like to with these color ratios. And I very commonly see a red, yellow, green color convention used as well. In this case, I'll just choose a slightly darker blue. Then I have an internal link dropdown. This is in fact an internal Cobblestone page, so I'll leave this on yes. If this were an external page, I want to switch this to no. And then, is this an active item? Do you want to use this tile? In this case, I do, so I'll leave this on yes. Scroll down and then hit save. And there's our new tile. If I click it, it brings me to the add contract page. Next, let's talk about summary tiles. These summarize some information from an ad hoc report. The first thing to know about summary tiles, the key point of information, is that they only summarize numeric data. So it must be integer fields, currency fields, decimal fields. So if I go to this drop-down list and I choose a report that does not have any numeric data, like active admins, when I go to select a report field, I won't see any fields in the drop-down list. If you really do want to get a count of all of the active admins or whatever the report happens to be about, you can go to the report, add some sort of numeric field to the report, and then this would work. So it's a pretty straightforward workaround, I think. But in this case, we're just going to choose a report that's a bit more on the nose. I'll just choose 1K contracts, and this will certainly have some numeric fields inside of it. There's 3 in this case. I'll choose contract amount. And then I have a variety of calculation options. I have average, count, min, max, and sum. I'll tell you now that count is the most commonly selected option. Count will look like this. Hey, how many contracts up for renewal? How many high-risk contracts? How many pending tasks? So on and so forth. Usually that question is how many is the most important when folks are looking at the dashboard. If you choose min, max, sum, or average, you might receive results that look more like this. Average contract amount. Okay, certainly useful, but just less commonly used. Also, while I'm here, let me acknowledge I'm frequently asked why, hey, how many contracts up for renewal? This is 12.00. Why does it have the decimals after it? The reason is because this is summarizing a currency field or a decimal field, which has decimal places. If I were simply summarizing the integer field, I would not see those decimals. So if you really do want to get rid of those decimals, just make sure you're summarizing an integer field. In this case, I am summarizing contract amount, so I would see those decimals. So maybe just for point of example, let's change this to days until end date, and then put that to count, and I should just receive a whole number instead of a number with decimals. And for my name, let's just put 1K contracts again. From here, tooltip, background color, and font color all work the same way. I'll just adjust my blue a bit, and then I'll click Save, and then we're good to go. So there we go. I have 24,982 contracts above $1,000 in my system, right? And all of these features are wash, rinse, repeat. You can add as many reports and tiles as you wish. One last thing before we go assign the dashboard. You can edit these tiles. To do so, you want to go to button tiles or summary tiles, respectively. And then click this drop-down. Where it says create new tile, you'll see there is a caret icon here. Click that. Then I'll see all of my button tiles. And I can edit it. Same thing goes for summary tiles. I can go over here, click this drop-down list, and I can edit from here. Okay. Now to wrap up, let's go back to System Dashboards and scroll down, and let's go to Assign. From here, I can assign this dashboard to my users. I can just choose any individuals I want on the left-hand side, push them to the right, and now they're assigned. You can set this as their default dashboard, meaning this is going to be their primary homepage when they log into the system. As long as they don't already have a dashboard defaulted to them, this will be their homepage. Also, if they create their own dashboard, they will not be able to set that as their default. This will supersede any of their default settings. You can also assign these, much like ad hoc reports, by roles and groups and security groups. Just like with ad hoc reports, my preference is to assign these by security groups. So let's say this is the standard dashboard for all of my standard users. I can just push that to the right-hand side, and hey, any user that is now added to the system going forward into the standard user group will be given this dashboard. And now let's say it's the standard dashboard for all of your users. I could maybe just choose all of the security groups, push that to the right, and now it's the default dashboard for everyone added to the system. So I think it's very convenient to assign dashboards by security group. People are given security groups anyway, so why not also give them dashboards by extension? Lastly, we can copy dashboards. So if you do have more than one dashboard and they happen to be similar, you can just copy this one. And then I can jump into this one and make some adjustments. Okay, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel every time you want a new dashboard. You can just copy one, edit it, and then assign that to other individuals. And so that is how we create and manage standard dashboards. In the next video, we're going to provide an overview of graphical dashboards and record level dashboards. Thank you.